Alrighty. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. Before we get started on today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button below, and don't forget to turn on your post notifications if you do subscribe. And make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about our tropical depression 2, and then our system that's in the parts of right. So first, before we even get on to talk about all that right here, we're just gonna click on this to see what we're seeing. Alright, so this storm is not going to affect anyone, but we could see some rain bands come into the parts of the Carolina with some little bit of rain. Very weak tropical storm, or not even a tropical storm, really, actually. But as you guys can see, this is going to be by Monday around, let's say, around, I want to say, yeah, Monday around 8 p.m. or 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. I meant, and then a.m. Tuesday, really making its way off into the going up towards going towards north mainly. Not gonna affect no one in the United States. Just a little bit of rain for the Carolinas and maybe some wind along with that. But it's interesting to see that this just popped up over the night, or even a few nights ago, which is interesting to see. So we'll just show a satellite imagery of what it looks like real fast. If you guys are just curious to see, this is really right from the Outer Banks, Carolina coast. You guys can see that we do have some cloud cover going into the parts that we wait here just a little quickly. All right, there we go. As you guys can see, we have cloud cover and parts of the I'm gonna keep this green, but you guys can see we got cloud cover, a high cloud covers tops on top of the Carolinas going into Virginia. You guys can see that we got cloud covers right there. So if we look into our next, I believe this is the next 2 days. Yeah, 2 days outlook. And speaking of it, we have another one coming off the African coast. But the thing about this one is not going to intensify. It has nothing. The reason why it's going to probably stay at 10% chance. The reason why I say 10%, you can see a very big cloud cover coming off the African coast. But the reason why I say is because that we have the African dust coming off the coast right now, and really right in here is like this wind shear all in here. So really, this thing is not gonna do nothing. It's probably gonna stay in here and just die because the wind shear is gonna kill it, or that African dust is too strong for that right now. But it is cool to see that we're seeing something off of the African coast with a 20% chance of forming in the next 5 days. With this one, we have our pressure with this one's 106. Our wind miles are 21 miles per hour in the center, pretty much. 35 miles, and then the movement, 21 miles an hour. And then we go down to here, our disturbance that we've been keeping an eye on. We have a 60% chance of it forming in the next 5 days. So since last Friday, we've seen a 40% increase, or even a 50% increase, and now a 20% chance of forming in the next 48 hours. So that's just cool to see right there that this one's going to be affecting the U.S. Maybe making landfall right in this, I don't know, right in this area. Anyone's between this area, it's going to make landfall. The Florida's 10% chance, but really Texas, whole entire coast, New Orleans, you guys got a good chance, maybe a 50% chance of getting making landfall, and then eventually getting carried by a front, and going to cause some rain for the parts of Virginia's, South Carolina, Georgia, up into the north and all that. So it's pretty cool to see. Like I said, this is cloud top cover from parts of that storm. That's our storm. That's the second one. It's not named. It's our second tropical depression. If I could talk today. So if we look at our 5 day forecast. These are our 5 days forecast. This is where we're going to see in the storm right here. With the storm, this is where we're going to see potentially maybe forming or going in the next 5 days within this area. Like I said, I would narrow it down to landfall right in this area. anything's possible in this area. I'll count it back here a little bit too. Landfalls are possible in these areas right there. This one, it's probably gonna make it to right here, but then it's gonna get hit by that wind shear and that dry air, so it's gonna kill it really fast. This one's just gonna go up into that cold water and eventually die. Never gonna become a tropical storm. But this one is the one we are going to be watching for the next 5 days. So, as we look onto our forecast models, look at the future. The GFS is updating right now, as we speak. Um, but we go to our European run and go into here and click on this. Sorry, so this right here is pretty much for our how much movement we're seeing in the atmosphere right now. So we go back. All right, so this is June 11th. So we go in. Today's the 14th. So we go to the 14th. So as you guys can see, storm that has no developed movement. And as you guys can see, the European is not picking up on this anymore. As you guys can see, the European let's see last runs. As you guys can see, that the European is not picking up on it too much. Now you guys can see that the European right here, it's got a little bit movement right there, but not really confining or really strengthening or not even getting itself together. Not really movement with it. All winds are going like this. It's all going like this, which doesn't show really strengthening. I have to wait for the GFS to update, but while we're waiting for the GFS to update, I'm actually going to look at the CMC to see what the CMC is saying. So the CMC, you see, this is the 12th. Storm right there, nothing really. The CMC shows a little bit of movement in this area. This is where we're seeing that movement. Really not confined too. Not really looking so good of really. Which you're gonna expect not really a strong tropical storm this time of year like Cat 1. But then there's our storm on the Pacific side. Yeah, I really don't see anything. Let's actually check. So we're talking about this storm could potentially form in the next 5 days. So that's around the 18th. So we go to 18th, go to my sweater page, and we'll go look at the Well, let's look at this one real fast. Actually, these are the spaghetti models for Invest. So as you guys can see, uh, this is Storm 92, Invest 92. You guys can see that the models are not really confined together. As you guys can see, if you want to see up here, these are all of our models stacked up. We got the European here, the GFS. I think the GFS is in here. No, the GFS, the UK model is in here. We got the military model for like boats and all that for hurricanes. But you guys can see a lot of models are not really sure where we're going to be seeing in the next few days. Some models show it coming this way. Some models show over here. Some models show right here. But and some model shows these are all willy nilly right now. We still are 10 days out from seeing anything forming. Or not 5 days out from seeing anything forming. If you look at this real fast. Let's look at this one. This is our invest. So you guys can see this is what it's looking like right now. Not bad of a looking storm. You guys can see we do have some high top clouds as we wait for it to load. Um, but it's almost done. But as you guys can see, we really got some cloud tops. I think this the more of the center would be let's change this color real fast. The center would be more in here. I feel like looking at it. It could be here. We don't know. This is not really a confined storm yet. It's kind of like all messy. It's kind of trying to get together. But if we look at go back on this one and let's look. We look at the spaghetti models and all that type of thing. So like I said, guys, a lot of malls are just everywhere. We got malls that are saying Texas, Louisiana, making landfall, Florida. These malls are everywhere right now, so we really don't want to go off what it says. Really, I wouldn't even go off anything. I would just watch Run. Like I said, like I've always been taught, history. Well, you have to look back in history to see what will happen. If you see like some models right here saying Cat 2, that's not gonna happen because I wouldn't say never happened, but it's rare. It's rare to see a Cat 2 in the Gulf of Mexico in the June. So a tropical storm, yeah, that could be reasonable, but I would say really this is more reasonable in this area down here. This that sounds more like it this time of year. Not strong tropical storm, not too much. That sounds more like it this time of year. So as we look, see. But yes, the tropics are definitely talking right now. We can see a lot with the topics. I posted a video Friday, and nothing was really happening. We're just covering Invest 92, and now we have a area to watch off the African coast. That's not going to be a problem because I'll explain about that. Why it's not going to be a problem and why it's going to weaken more than anything else. So as you guys can see, you can't really see, but the African coast, if I can mark it right here for you guys, the African coast is more like this right here. It's more right there, and you got your storm right here. So really, where it's forming right now, it's already in dust. So as we keep on watching, and right now, that's the reason why I think this storm is going to struggle because we do have some African dust going all the way into Mexico right now, which is going to be, I think, affecting it a little bit. It's going to be hurting it a little bit. So this is the 14th. I think that's why it's kind of struggling right now. We're talking about African dust, some strong dust going into Tampa all the way. That's pretty. That's a lot of dust to see, and it doesn't get better from there, really. So as you guys see, it does clear up a little bit. I think right there. But if we go right there, talk about some dust going all the way up into the Atlantic. That is some serious dust up into the Tampa Bay area. That's something right there. That's why our storm, I think, is going to be struggling a little bit to get to that tropical storm right there. Because if we move it down a little bit, this is around the 17th. Our storm's still right here around the 17th. If we erase this, storm's still here around the 17th. So it's still gonna make a way through that. We have to wait another day in order to see this dust. But we're talking about almost just about the whole entire Florida is covered in dust, which is not strong dust compared to like right here. But still, that's dust. That's a little bit of dust can still hurt a storm and weaken it. With wind shear on top of that, can do some serious damage to the storm and not cause it to strengthen that much. So as we go, let's look at the wind shear real fast. So if we look for the wind shear map, it's going to be on the side right here. Alright, here we go, right here. Not too much of a wind shear pattern, really. It's really weak right here. Right in front of the storm. No wind shear being embedded into the storm yet. It does have a little bit towards the going north of it, and this, really, but really, it might hurt it a little bit, but it's very weak. But really, this is where we got strongest, in the Caribbean Sea. And then back here, it has weakened a lot in this back too, because it was a lot stronger last week, so, excuse me. But, I don't know. We do have to keep our eye on this wind shear and that dust, because that could really affect the storm, how it play into going into next week or even 2 weeks from now. That's going to be a big role to see what we're going to see. So, like I said, let's see if there's not really any dry air. The African dust will affect some storms sometimes, but if it has to be really strong to like kill it, but if a little bit gets embedded to it, it doesn't hurt too much, but it will be a little bit weaker than what anticipated. So I think that storm we've been looking at, this storm right here, as you guys can see in the area, I think we're going to see a little bit of weakening in there. Like I said, here's more spaghetti models. The European, the CMC, really everything is not agreeing. Like I said, but we're still plenty of days out. We still got a lot of things to watch. Like I said, this is our dust right now. That's some strong dust going into the storm. You guys can see that our storm's right here, and we have dust right in front of it going right here, and then our dust is making its way to that Florida. But then we have our storm right in here. Our storm is right in this area with some strong African dust, which that's the reason why hurricanes cannot really come off of Africa. That's why I was a little surprised. This little teeny storm um, has a 20% chance of forming in the next 5 days. That's a little high for that time of year off the Atlantic, off the African coast. So that's pretty high. I think that's all we're gonna cover today. But like I said, a lot to watch. Um, excuse me, a lot to watch on right now. Really, this is gonna be our main concern. But if if we do if that dust does tend to slow down and that wind shear does stay in front of it, we could see the storm potentially weaken and not become as strong as some models are saying. Let's see if the GFS has done anything just real fast. Let's see if we're actually on. Alright, we're at hour 114. So hour 114. So as you guys can see, if we let this load, you see some movement right in this area right here. Yeah, some movement as we wait. Yeah, some movement. Not really a If we look right here, let's go to real fast. Right here, and this will be our last thing we cover on the video. Yeah, it's showing 103. That's a really weak tropical storm, and I think that that wind shear is gonna have something to play in it because yesterday a lot of models see. If we look right here, this is when our wind shear is playing the effect. This is around the June 14th, so this is right now, as the GFS is saying right now. But then we're talking about let's see, go back. This is around the 18th. So the 17th, if we go back to 17th, it's still weak because that wind shear and that small wind shear and a little bit of dust affecting it. So I think once it starts to get out of that movement, which is going to probably, it may cause it to move a little bit more, going more towards like a north, around the, yeah, going right around the north is going more, instead of it going towards like the Texas area, might force it to go into the New Orleans area instead, because that wind shear and that dry air, that African air that's coming off of Africa, is going to be making its way into Tampa Bay, all the way probably to the top of Florida. So that's going to be some warming temperatures, which it was expected around this end of this week. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you do choose to subscribe, make sure you turn on post notifications, and make sure you get this video a big thumbs up. And one last thing, if I said anything wrong, anything, make sure you leave a comment below so I can learn, because I like to take as much information um, as much. Or you just have any recommendations for websites that you guys want me to use or anything like that, I'm all out for those options. So until next time.